Welcome again to part 3 of the story of Bambi. In the winter, Bambi could walk on the ice soon enough without slipping. Once they heard a little faint. It was a snore. They looked deep down in a burrow and saw a skunk there, fast asleep. "Let's wake him up," said Bambi. "No, skunks always sleep right through the winter," Thumper explained. "It's called hibernating." Winter was a lot of fun, but as time went on, there was less and less food. Nights were long and very cold, and Bambi always hurried back to his mother to keep warm as soon as the sun set. One day Bambi got lost. Not far away he suddenly heard a big bang. He was very frightened. Everything was completely silent, and his heart was thumping very fast. Suddenly and silently, the great prince of the forest appeared. "Your mother can never be with you again," he said quietly. "Now you must be brave and learn to walk alone." Then he left Bambi and was all alone for a while. Fortunately, Phelan and her mother found Bambi and took him into the forest. Time went by, and little by little Bambi's sorrow lessened. The forest was awakening from its long sleep. All the animals were out, smelling and sniffing for the coming of spring. The long winter was finally over. Bambi wasn't a fawn anymore. He had grown tall and strong, and he won all the races. "Hoo, hoo," flutters Mr. Owl, busily flapping his wings. "What is all that hubbub?" he asks with a frown. "Won't you let me sleep? It's been days since I slept a wink. Has everybody gone crazy?" "Nobody is crazy, Mr. Owl. It's springtime, and we are all getting ready for the happy days ahead," said Thumper. One day, Bambi was walking alone in the forest, and he began daydreaming. Suddenly, he wasn't alone anymore. Standing next to him was a beautiful doe. "Do you remember me, Bambi? I'm Phelan," and she licked his nose with her pink tongue. Both of them went on down the path together. They were back together again, running and jumping. Phelan seemed to be playful with Bambi, but when he got closer, she ran away from him, and then she waited for him a little distance away. Bambi was really entranced by Phelan. He didn't pay much attention to anything else. He was a tall and strong deer now. Bambi ran to Phelan to tell her what he had discovered. But as soon as he stood close to her, short of breath, he saw that she had known all along. "Phelan," he began, "anyway, will you marry me? I promise to love you and protect you as long as I live." Phelan didn't answer, but she held out her long and delicate paw. "Not so fast," said a deep voice. "Phelan is going with me. It was Rono, the deer, his antlers lowered ready for battle." "I don't want to fight," said Bambi. "I want to marry Phelan, so you must go away," said Rono. "Phelan didn't choose you," Bambi pointed. "She chose me. I'll fight for her if I must, but I do believe that you ought to be reasonable and understand the situation." Instead of calming Rono down, those words seemed to infuriate him even more. "The truth is that you are afraid to fight and that you're a coward," said Rono. Then Bambi was convinced there was no other way. He wasted no time and charged straight at Rono. They met with a crash and fought fiercely until the last. Bambi wounded Rono in the shoulder. By now, Bambi's and Rono's antlers had become entangled. Bambi heard Phelan call him, and he managed to free himself and go after her. He knew that for Phelan he could do anything. Now there was nothing to fear anymore. Phelan came back to Bambi's side and they walked away through the trees and the meadows to start their life together. Then one day, the great stag came to Bambi saying, "Man is coming. I can hear dogs barking. It is man with tents and campfires. You must take care of yourself." And failing. News has spread quickly through the forest. All the animals were running back home and hiding. Thumper the rabbit gathered his large family together. The big stag was right. The sound of shooting was getting closer every minute. Later in that day, the shooting got even closer and closer. When Failing saw the dogs in the distance, she immediately started running. "Hurry, Failing!" shouted Bambi, as he saw a dog very close behind her. More dogs could be seen not far from the cliff. As Failing was climbing up, Bambi held the dog off with his antlers. Bambi and Failing galloped as fast and as far as they could. "Bambi, what is that red light over there?" Failing suddenly asked. "Fire, that's what it is." The forest was on fire from the campfires. All the young trees were already blackened. Suddenly, they were surrounded by smoke, and Bambi started to run and run again until he reached a clearing. The great stag was there. Bambi looked at his father with great sadness. "Where's Failing?" the great stag asked. "We ran away from the dogs and I lost her in the smoke." "Hurry, son. We must make for the river." "If only I knew where Failing was," Bambi sighed. "Come, son, there is no time for discouragement," the big stag said, trying to cheer him up. They rushed through the fire, through the cool water of the river, and on to the far shore. Many other animals had already reached safety there. To Bambi's great relief and joy, Failing was there too, and she gently licked Bambi's wounded shoulder. "Safe at last."